applies in general to an edict, a bull, or public predication, declaring a thing, a subject matter, etc., to be set aside, set apart, or consecrated to a special use or purpose. That which is designated taboo is restricted to the special use, knowledge, and prerogative of a god, a king, a priest, an adept, a chieftain, etc. Taboo subjects and matters are forbidden to general use, restricted and prohibited to a particular class, especially to women, or to a particular person or persons. Taboo is held as inviolable, sacred, forbidden, unlawful, and as for the public, classified under Index Librorum Prohibitorum and Index Expurgatorius. Theological intrigue and political subject matters have proven to be specifically sensitive educational topics. When one openly converses about non non-placating resolutions to these enigmas. A revisit through the heart and the mind to the ancient insonomy governmental principles of our ancient Moabite Moorish mothers and fathers reveals serious violations against law, order, and governmental principles. Observe the contradictions which have contributed to our presently disrupted pursuit of happiness. If one displays even a simulacrum of courage and dares to question the presiding religious and political hypocrisy concerning the commonly paraded self-righteous attitudes and equality practices, some people become immediately arrogant and unnecessarily defensive. Such pompousness and vanity can be easily rationalized and understood when it comes to revealing truths about Inquisition history or about discovering the ancient superior social status of ancient Asiatic African women in ancient civilization, of ancient and slash African women in ancient civilization, governing the North American territory, the North Gate. One cannot and will not understand or properly analyze the foul social, economic, and political imbalances imposed upon North Americans. North natural North Americans, natural peoples. If one has no knowledge of the Lecraeus Inquisition philosophy and about the anti-humane psychology and psychic attacks, which are the seeds and fertilizers of our present social, spiritual, economic, and political disorders. With glances into the mirrors of the mind, let us travel, if only a little, through the halls of our ancient Moabite chronicles. When the Moors began to adopt and to accept the alien and vague idol god worship systems of the Inquisitionists from Europe, the Niceno-Constantinopolitan Creed, the Moors, began to fall quickly into disorder, naivety, division, self-hatred, ignorance, and poverty. Many who converted to Christendom and adopted the practice of denying a consanguine relationship to their blood and their forefathers have been referred to by the Christian conquerors and inquisitionists as Moriscos, being Moors in denial. Those same so-called Moriscos are today referred to as Negroes, blacks, and colors. There are so many volumes of text to study and to examine about the Inquisition and the Inquisitionists that use no single book or writ could do the subject matter justice. Their demonic deeds, their philosophies, and their effects were so encompassing and destructive that no single writer or historian could ever do subject matter justice. Neither can the human family ever be fairly compensated for the evils perpetrated against the living by the unborn, against the living and the unborn by the hands of the minds of such monsters of darkness and their helpers. One of the most successful psychic attacks ever devised and perpetrated against humanity and the civilized world was the false, malicious, vile, atrocious, banal act of attaching the name Jesus to the Nicene Constantinopolitan Creed. The deception was devised to effectively give fictional public sanction to Roman Christendom, solidifying it as legitimate to truth during the Byzantine era. The Nicene Creed was actually authorized by the great Roman Emperor Constantine. Emperor Constantine Flavius Valerius Aurelius Constantinus, AD 280 to 337, is sometimes referred to in history as Constantine the Great. He was born of a Gothic tribe at the land known as Mosea, which is geographically located at what is now called Bulgaria, Serbia. Constantine, Emperor, the Nicene Constantine Creed. The Nicene Constantine Creed is pseudo-religious. It's pseudo-religious priests, their assigned and ordained leaders, and their clubbish type persons have taken for themselves, quote unquote, world titles of authority. More often than not, these persons have projected asinine and arrogant explanations as to what their exclusive and specialized versions of a god wants and desires for everyone else. This is a practice diversion, which is forwarded in order for them to justify the many unresolved social injustices. Of course, there is always a monetary price included. While these self-righteous deity-titled persons are rarely put to stern or substantive questioning, even a child would recognize many of their pompous, pacifying, diverted, and yet empty proclamations as being not much more than neatly packaged royal maggot dung. Those of us who know a little about true world history, ancient scripts, and about the worldwide inquisition and pseudo-religion are not engaged in naivety, and can be easily see through the farce. We, being aboriginal to the land and having been made conscious, have a knowledge about the veiled secrets and truth about the occupation of the Western Hemisphere. Thus, why women have been minimized within throughout occupied North American society. The precepts of suppressing the Asiatic African woman emanates from the deviant and anti-matriarchal and pseudo-religious foreign inquisition customs which have been rooted within North American social order. By the Union State Society members, Union State Society is organizationally abbreviated as the U.S. democracy body politic, which is contemporarily founded by corporations, feigning as legitimate government in North America. Any open conversations or discussions which allude to a positive light about women and the ancient matriarchy has been and is one of those social taboo subjects, which are shunned on a major scale at most all social, religious, political levels. The fact remains in a light of such aberrations that North America and the true natural peoples, inhabitants thereof, have been held under alien crusade, colonial European domination for the fact remains in light of such abbreviations that North America and the true natural peoples, inhabitants thereof, have been held under alien crusade, colonial European domination for the last few centuries. Thus, the advent of the Union State Society's patriarchal occupational colonialism and its colorable U.S. government policies by Roman papal Canaan rules of law, the true history about ancient world civilization, science, astrology, cosmology, and woman was and is suppressed by the pretentious impostors. Their oppression policies are embodied and reflected within the colored and fixed black codes. Inquisition insights. It becomes pertinent at this time to relate to a few key points in world history during the Inquisition. This will give the reader some insight into the modern day social politics which are misrepresented as racism and has identifiably as identifiable characteristics unique to a twisted slave culture as the one bred in North America. Demos and democracy. Why is it that Europeans who now occupy North America and control the seats of government constantly chant the phrase, our democracy, at every opportunity when gesturing the public? This political phrase implies white supremacy exclusivity, and feudal military powers. The interjecting of and or the chanting of the word democracy has been mystically instructed to the masses and invoked by the demos politicos, hovering over the seats of government, and thus to usurp political power in North America. This psychosis is practiced in order to imprint the foreign Greek word demo upon the minds of the misgoverned natural people. Democracy is the political code word or password used by the Roman European colonists who are occupying a land which is not their own to spoil their social, political, military activities and covert operations over the Northwest, Amexem, North American territories, and natural peoples. Note that the demo claims are made under a feigned claim of unspecified, vague, and so-called American national citizenship. This depopularized demo chant was an invoke for the mass mental grooming to imbue the acceptance of the displacement of the original organic republic form of government. Democracy/demos uncovered and exposed is the hypocritical and deceitful political subversion code method for Roman political rulership in the extreme West. This little studied and misrepresented political system was formed to economic displace the natural people and to place them outside of the secure protections and immunities of organized constitutional government. This allows and sets the stage for the demos to steal the legitimate seats of the republic's government. The democracy chant is done in order for the subverting anti-constitutional political parties to dominate the administrative law powers and to colorably rule, with limited examination of organic law or with little or no civil contention coming from a non-thinking, non-reading, and pacified populace. Democracy is derived from the Old Greek words demos or dim, often personified, which refers to the peoples or common of a ancient Greek state, hence the personified political body political of the occupying forces of the European crusaders in association and through enslavement and deception conquering and occupying the Western Hemisphere. So as you can see, women are held out of seats of power and this and that because y'all have higher intuition and connection to see that something is obviously off. So, definitely important to speak up and take back these seats of power in the Republic and get this effing bankrupt company, corporation out of here. Let's freaking get this done, guys. Come on, seriously. Over here eating my oatmeal, trying to bring some sexy back. And now, y'all, Negroes, blacks, and colors still think this is a game. 90% of y'all ain't got no money in the bank. Even if you do, it's not real money. So what's going on here? So, I'm gonna type this here and hopefully this saves to this video once I close it. If not, we'll see. Matriarchy. Definitely need this matriarchy back. So let's like step it up. for women and government by shit. I ain't taking credit for all this bitch. Fuck that. Yeah, I'm a genius. My name's Noble Drawley. I figured out all this by myself. Yeah. It's like, nah, I'm just chilling, joking. But yeah, yo, like, there's mad stuff. Why won't y'all, like, giving thanks to the Most High for all the people that are realizing that they can do it and they can wake up. Don't gotta be afraid of the self. Step up. Peace. It's your boy Vickens Moscova. Check out my interview with Tahiri on Blog Talk Radio /Omnipresence Media. You know how your boy do, talking to Tahiri about these law and civics. Yo, check it, I ain't joking. Go to my blog, Partying Living Free. Go to everything. Let's do it, kid!